Good evening. Welcome to Premier League Forecast. It's me, Chris Brack. I'm back with Luke. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing all right, thanks.
Excellent. And we've got Kev back with us. And we've got a new guest. We've got Ben, our Nottingham Forest fan. How you doing, Ben?
Not too bad. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for having me on.
Not a problem. Kev, how are you doing?
All good, mate. All good, mate. Always happy to be on.
Good. How is the world of FIFA?
Yeah, all good. Boring for everyone else, but getting through it. Getting through it.
I ask this every time because I haven't got a clue. So I'll let you know what FIFA is, but last time I played FIFA was 2002. Which probably showed me age.
I spend an unhealthy amount of time on the go, so
don't mind if they paid me though. So good. Right, let's jump straight into it. So let's start with the first game of the weekend, which is Forest versus Liverpool. The big one for us. Well, for three of us at least. Kev couldn't care less really. But so Ben, are you looking forward to this? It's a while since we've had a league game of Liverpool and Forest.
This is the first picture I looked at. Because like I said, I've got so many Liverpool friends. My brother's a Liverpool fan, and that's the first thing I looked at. I thought, yes, bring your Liverpool on. I know we played you lot last season in the FA Cup, but it's the league now. I know that Liverpool's not beat Forest at the City Ground in the leagues since 1980 something. So for you lot to come to the City Ground, can't wait. I'm buzzing. But bring you on. Bring Liverpool on, I say.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
So, Luke, probably the last time we played Forest in the Premier League, you probably were a baby.
I was probably a year old.
Oh, I hate young people.
That's being honest.
I'm
not even sure I was born.
Yeah, but for a generation, people don't realise Forest Liverpool was, especially in the 80s, was the game. I've watched the game. I've watched the I Believe in Miracles. I've also watched the BT did a really good documentary on Forest about when they won the European Cup. So people forget. Forest is a very, very big historical club, but they've been away from the Premier for quite a while. I think there's a whole generation that's forgotten this. So you enjoy being back in the Prem. Cause I know it's been a tough start, but I mean, new pro sides, it's always a tough start getting adapted to the Premier League.
It's been 23 years since we've been in the Premier League, and just to be back, play against big teams like Liverpool. We've been to Newcastle. The first game was Newcastle away, and it was just we had to pinch ourselves because I don't know if everyone knows the story what happened last season. It was rock bottom, and we was thinking about League One football, and then like I said, everyone knows the story what happened. Playing teams like seeing the fixtures list come out and seeing playing Liverpool, Man City, the rest of the top 6 teams, it's amazing, and it's still like crazy to say Nottingham Forest are a Premier League side. And like I said, before the show started, the first thing I looked at was Liverpool. When we ever got Liverpool, because I got a little bit of dislike to him. So tomorrow is I can't wait. I'm excited, but to be in the Premier League, playing against the big boys, it's just amazing. I can't wait. I'm buzzing.
Awesome. Luke, are you looking forward to this one? Because Liverpool finally done back-to-back wins, which is nice. It's a nice novelty for us.
Only for the second time.
Yeah.
Which was painful when I heard that. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to the game tomorrow because obviously played each other in the FA Cup. Atmosphere was amazing, bouncing throughout, and I expect it to probably be the same 12:30 tomorrow because sometimes the early morning the early afternoon kickoffs, the crowd's a bit lackluster because it's early. Don't think this is going to be the case here. Forest are definitely happy to be back in the league. They've had a slightly indifferent start, but that's expected when you've just come up, especially transfer window. They've had a lot of business to be done, so they've taken a little bit more time to adjust than probably what some fans were expecting. I think at the beginning of the season, I saw some people predicting that Nottingham Forest was going to stay up quite comfortably, and then they've not had the greatest of starts, but it's definitely not going to be an easy game. It's going to be one of those nail-biting games.
I'm happy you said that. I'm happy you said it's going to be a close game. Because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I think we're still a little naturally pessimistic at the moment because Liverpool actually haven't won an away game yet since last season.
I noticed.
Yeah, our away form this year has not been fantastic. And squad-wise, as Kev rightly points out, for Liverpool, it's 3 games in 6 days, and we'll go through. We'll look at the squad now. I mean, we've got Nunes and Thiago. I think Thiago should be fine. Nunes is a doubt. Tight hamstring. Do you risk him? Probably not, because last thing we need is another forward going down. We've already got no Diaz and Jota, so it'll be an interesting sort of mix up for us. I mean, Ben, from your perspective, I think you've got a few out now. Is it 6 or 7 you've got out at the moment? We know Nico Williams we were talking earlier. Nico Williams will be fine because there was a concern that he picked up a groin injury, but from what you're telling me, he's absolutely fine. But do we want to dispel? There is a myth. Obviously, dispel one of the myths about Forest is Forest have bought an awful lot of players, and it is. We were having a bit of a joke off air. Every 3 days Forest are going to sign someone. But when you dig into it, did you say it was 15 players left at the end of last season because they were like end of contract, end of loan? So this big overhaul was going to happen this season, no matter what division you were in.
100%. Because, as I said, there's been so much talk about why Forest have brought in 23 players. And then I understand with a non-Forest fan, from a mainstream media, fans' opinion, blah, 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 I get it. Say, why we brought all these players? But if you dig deep and understand what's been happening, 18 players left Nottingham Forest. 5 were loans. Quite a lot of players were out of contract. Players who wanted to leave. And that's and players who wasn't good enough for the Premier League. So we had no choice, because if people were saying, if we brought in the usual 5 or 6 players, we'll be actually getting hammered. Like, we are getting hammered now, but it would have been really bad on us. And the players that we brought in, like I said, players like, I don't know, we had Samba, we placed him with Dean Henson. We had players who played in a number 10 role, 4 or 5 players in the Championship. We brought in experienced players in Jesse Lingard. We thought he was the guy that could have done that role for us. As well, Morgan Gibbs-White. I can keep going on. Do you want me to mention the whole 18 players?
No, it's fine.
That's going to be a good quiz one day. Name all 23 players Nottingham Forest signed in their season.
Listen, mate, I still like talk about. I forgot about him. When someone says to me, "Who's been the best signing?" I went, "It took me 5 minutes to think."
Well, we're going to ask you that. For those who don't watch, who are the ones to? If you look at who are the ones you to be wary of?
We're going to say Jesse Lingard, because, like I said, so far this season, Jesse Lingard has not been great. We know what he's done with Man United, little bits with West Ham. He's the player that he's experience-wise. But if you say who's the player that Liverpool got to be wary about, is Brendan Johnson, because he's done it. He done it last season for us, 20 goals. He's done it for Wales as well. He might not started great this season, but he's the player that other rival clubs are more worried about him, because they always, every time he plays, there's always like 2 players always on him. So I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool target him, because he's got pace. He's not afraid to take on anyone. So with all these players that we brought in, it's Brendan Johnson one of our own. He's a player that Liverpool got aware of, because
is there one Morgan Gibbs-White who did light it up for you last year? I know it's not quite worked out for him yet in the Premier League, but he was definitely one of the highlights for you last season.
Yeah, Morgan Gibbs-White, I said he was actually for United. He was actually for United last season, and he was the best player in the league. So he's worked with Steve Cooper, and we've been chasing him for long, and finally Wolves give up with the 25 million and plus. Has it worked out for him? Not really.
He played left wing. I think I saw him play left wing last game.
Yeah, he played left wing, but the only decent game that he's had was against your rivals, Everton. That was his debut. But since then, he hasn't done the best as he's done in the last season. I'm not saying Championship the Premier League is a different animal championship. But he's not really done as much. But he's young. We've got a young side, and hopefully he's got to start getting better performances, because the Premier League is a nightmare to just like, if you play rubbish, your confidence is going to get low. And I don't want to be negative around him because he's a good player. Yeah. He needs to start now, because if we don't, it's going to get worse for us.
Yeah. Okay. So from your perspective, what was the line you said? Are you I think you played 4 at the back at the last game. Do you think you'll be sticking with that, or do you think you go, because you did start the season with 3 at the back, or is that injuries that are dictating what you can play?
The reason we've gone back to 4, because like I said, we started with 3 because we keep on losing and losing. Cooper had to change it, because if we stayed the same formation, we're going to get battered. We started with the 4 at Aston Villa. We thought, it's a stepping stone, and then we stuck with it against Wolves, and we lost 1-0 with a dubious penalty. Then we thought, you know what, we had to stick to that 4, because like I said, if we start with 3 formation, we've got a few injuries. We've got Nikate, who's injured, another player that was injured as well. So we had to still stick with the back 4, because we've only got Cook and Scott McKenna as a proper first choice centre back. So me personally, I think you'll stick with the 4, if I'm honest. But you never know what Steve Cooper thinks, because he's like a Jose Mourinho. He likes to play mind games with what formation he plays. So, like I said, you never know what team he'll play.
Yeah, I mean, we had Steve Cooper at Liverpool. He was in the youth setup. Did really well with that. And he went off to do I think he was in England setup for a while as well, wasn't he?
England's 17s manager, won the World Cup.
That was it. Yeah, so he's a very, very highly thought of coach. It's actually quite nice to see coaches who do well at the youth levels build themselves up to actually get themselves Premier League opportunities. Kev, sorry, we haven't actually spoken to you yet. So, how are you seeing this game? Because obviously you'll be sort of neutral, we'll say.
I mean, I don't see a world where Liverpool probably don't win. I was quite excited for Forest to come up. Obviously, Forest are a big team, and historically, obviously, they've done a lot in the past. So I was quite excited. I actually was one of the people that thought they'd probably do quite well, just because I felt like with Fulham coming up, and I've actually managed to forget who the other couple came up on, but they've both been up and down quite a lot.
Bournemouth.
And Bournemouth, that's it, yeah. They've been in the Prem quite a lot, so I kind of felt like the novelty would probably wear off about, the bounce coming up and down. And I thought Forest, first time being back, they'd kick on and do quite well. Obviously, the massive squad overhaul, a lot of in and outs, it hasn't gone that well. But I think I saw a comment saying that the World Cup will probably be actually a good opportunity for him to get a hold of quite a few of the new players and give them a proper coaching whilst everyone's at the World Cup. So, but I think Liverpool will probably win it reasonably comfortably. But I always hope for a Liverpool loss, so up the Forest.
Me too.
Yeah. Go on then, Kev. What prediction are you going for?
I'll go for a 3-1 to Liverpool. I'm hoping for like a 1-0 Forest or something like that. But
okay.
We pray.
Okay.
We do.
Go on then, Ben. Give us what you think your lineup will be and what you think the score will be.
I think it'll be a 4-3-3. Because, like I explained, with the formation of 3-5-2, it just wasn't working. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll stick with 4-3-3. My prediction. Do I have to? The way we play in has not been great. I know Liverpool have not won away from home.
Yep.
I'll be happy with a point. I'll take the point, but I just can't see it happening. I know Liverpool, the 1-7-1 against Rangers, they beat Man City 1-0, beat West Ham the other day 1-0. I think Liverpool will win 3-1. We'll score a goal, but going forward, Liverpool are just too good, way too good.
Okay. Well, see, they're all positive. I don't know what's wrong with you, honestly. Tell you, you're always so negative about Liverpool. So Liverpool got a few. If we go for the Liverpool side, I think the back 4 and the midfield 2 probably pick themselves. Do we agree? It's probably going to be Gomez and Van Dijk in the middle. I think Robson comes back in. I think Trent will get at least another run out.
Yeah.
And then I would assume it would be Fabinho in for Henderson, because Henderson did the full 90 against West Ham. because I think we've only got 3 of them that we have to rotate. So
Naby Keita's back after Monday,
Yeah, but he's not going to be playing for another 3 or 4 weeks because
he's back in full training on Monday.
But Klopp said he's 3 weeks behind Ox. So
he's off.
So I'll be honest, you won't see him. I don't think until
you'll see him just in time to walk him out the door,
possibly
in January.
So the question then is, if Núñez is out, and listen, if he's got a tight hamstring and they're not going to take a risk, not with the amount of back-to-back games, it wouldn't surprise if Núñez is on the bench. So that would probably mean Salah goes up front, Bobby in the 10, and it's who are the 2 wide options. My money would be on Elliott on the right. I think Curtis Jones comes on the left because that's what he played for the under-21s, and that's his position. That's his position for the under-21s.
Tough one,
because I don't think he could play.
I don't think.
See, I thought he was fine. I thought Fabinho was terrible when he came out. I thought Jones did a job, and that's kind of
Fabinho.
Kind of what he was
really bad, really bad. He looks like I don't know. I don't know. So is he lying about how old he is? Because he does not look someone who's 28. He looks someone that's about to end his career.
What we don't know is I wonder how much that City game took out of him because he had to do a lot of work in that City game. And to be fair, he played well in the City game, so maybe chasing City around for a full game, for nearly a full game, knackered about. I just feel like it might be a game for Jones because I don't think Klopp he's done it once, but he sort of hinted Carvalho and Elliott in the starting lineup. He's not keen on at the moment. I think it's more to do with the height situation. The young lads as well, but I think it's the height. Set pieces. That's probably what he was concerned about. Which is he said straight away. I took Carvalho off because I looked at the set pieces and brought Jones on.
Could you see Milner starting left mid? Could you see it?
No. I could see Milner starting. There is a wilderness. I personally think how we use Milner in the West Ham games, how you should be using him
is how you should be using him.
Last 15, see it out, and we saw him. He gets the match saving blockade. He gets massive block. That's what you need from him. So go on. What score prediction are you going for?
I'm going to be not as confident as the 2 gentlemen. I'm going to go another 1-0.
And who's goal scorer?
We made Salah. We look better playing, but I just don't think the goals are going to quite flow in. We're not being as clinical as I would be expecting to be. So a 1-0. I'll take a 1-0 because it's a win.
Yeah,
I'll take a win.
I've got a scrappy 2-0. I think Salah will probably get 2. I think he's hopefully starts going a bit of a run for us. But I think it'd be one of those 2-0s. It's 1-0 and it's 1-0 for a bit like the West Ham a long time. That's how I feel. That's how I feel it's going to go because that's how our away games have been going this year. They've not been Rangers aside. They haven't been a breeze. They've been really difficult. In the chat, we've got 2-0. MC's put 1-0. Sadio Mane back post.
You don't miss him. Liverpool miss him. I know he wanted to leave, but they do miss him a lot. You can tell.
Yeah, he's a really good number 9 because with basically Núñez, you're training another new number 9 to come into the squad, which is always going to miss. But you will always miss a player who's like that.
That is quality, 100%.
Hey, if it ends like 3-1, 6-0, hey, it's happy days. But I'm going to go. I'm not going to say that word. I'm just going to go safe and go 1-0.
I'll take anything. As long as it's a win, I'll take anyone at the moment. That's kind of how it is.
I want to be leaving with something, and it ain't a draw. I want to be leaving with a win.
I mean, look, from our Liverpool biased perspective, chances to put an early marker down. Win today, you're a point behind Chelsea in 4th before they play Man United. So again,
easy.
Put some pressure on.
Again, I'm wanting a drawing.
Yeah. So speaking of Chelsea, Man United, let's move on to that. So these are 2 of the most informed sides in the last 6 games. Chelsea are 3rd, and United are 4th, based on the form guide. Both got 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. So this is going to be a good game actually because both sides are playing well in the form guide. So Ben, what's your sort of feelings on Chelsea versus Man United? They've done well. The new manager for Chelsea has done really well now. He's got them settled in.
I think when Potter comes in, I think everyone was a bit wary about, is he the man? Because, Chelsea, they like to get a high-profile manager in. And to be fair, they brought a manager in. Like I said, he's got a good record in his past clubs. He's been out with Swansea and Brighton. And like I said, he's not lost yet for Chelsea. And he's doing well. The thing with Man U, everyone keeps saying they're still building. You haven't got time to build. They want to win trophies, and I know they won 2-0 the other day against Spurs and that. But me personally, I think Chelsea will win because I like the way Potter plays football. So I think they've got a good side going forward. You've got Aubameyang, Sterling, Mount's doing some good stuff as well for him. But yeah, I personally think that Chelsea will win. I know Man Utd will be missing Ronaldo and that, but they've got a good. Man Utd still got a good side without Ronaldo. But for me, Chelsea are going to be too strong. If I'm honest, and yeah, the Man Potters will. I think didn't Brighton beat Man U start of the season?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Potter will do it again. So I'm confident Chelsea will win.
Cool.
Sorry, Kev.
That's
fine, mate. That's fine.
I hate to get his own about that. Luke, Kev says, United have a good record against Chelsea, and they've got the pace that might hurt United on the break. That probably is. Rashford is their option. I mean, the thing United is they've got no Martial tomorrow.
I think he's going to be fit, isn't he? But he's only going to be on the bench.
Yeah, and Ronaldo is for disciplinary reasons. Not right from the squad. So.
Rightfully so.
We'll let Kev pick that up in a minute because obviously see what he thinks.
I've got opinions.
That's his.
That's
legend over there.
But they have got. But they have got pace. With Anthony and Sancho and Rashford. That's a front three that can hurt Chelsea, who are they've got no Reece James and
which is massive.
Koulibaly still, I would say, he's still settling into the league a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the best 0-0 game you're ever going to see because these games are usually quite low scoring. I've not seen much of Chelsea since Potter has taken over. So what I've seen of Chelsea is only what I've seen on highlights and what I've read through Twitter. And some people are still, it's good football, but they've still got the same problems that they had under Tuchel, finishing chances. I think Brentford, they didn't really create much. It's been good. Like the results have looked good on paper. If you've not watched Chelsea, the results are, they've kept 5 clean sheets in a row, but
yeah, Kepa's actually, to be fair,
Kepa is having the form of his life,
which is what Chelsea need. Which is when Mendy's just dropped off form wise. You bring your number 2 in, and he's doing really well for you. Apparently, Thiago should also be back for Chelsea contra Red Steve, which is a big one for them. That's what they need, is that leader at the back.
I think having Chalobah at the back for Chelsea, I think it's going to be good against the pace of United's attack. Because when you look at that back three, you're thinking Thiago Silva, 38. You've got Koulibaly. Yes, he's quick, but Chalobah's rapid, and he's going to be able to keep up with that with the United counter attack. So he's going to be pretty crucial, especially if you're going to have Azpilicueta playing right back or even right wing back. It depends on what formation Potter plays.
Sam Tandy said Kepa will now probably drop one in tomorrow from a Fernandes shot. Probably won't. After I've said he's played really well, he'll drop an absolute bollock now. Right, Kev. So let's talk about United. So what's your view of Ronaldo basically sulking off? You have to talk about it because of he's a high profile footballer. He's not enjoying not playing as much as he would like. Does it leave a bit of a bitter taste in your mouth that he's I don't know, it comes across that he's a bit above this?
Yeah, I think it's I think I tweeted out saying it's just like a kid having a strop. Like to refuse to come off the bench, I think is awful. I think that like refusing to help your team, regardless of how you feel about the manager or the club, I think you have a loyalty towards your teammates that if they need you, you shouldn't let them down. So yeah, I'm really not a fan of it. I love Ronaldo. I'm one of the biggest fans ever. I grew up in the era. I was 5 when Ronaldo joined, and I got to live through that. And I will always love Ronaldo for that. But the way that he's dealt with it, like the last few months, has been really poor, in my opinion. So,
yeah, but you can't blame him. You can't blame him because he wanted to leave, didn't he? So
he wanted to leave. We didn't stop him leaving. Just no one would take him. No one would take him. Like, no one wanted to pay his wages.
Sporting Lisbon wanted him back.
Yeah, Sporting Lisbon want him.
No, he tried to go to Sporting Lisbon, but they wouldn't.
Sporting Lisbon went. No.
It's just a matter of fact that no one wants him, unless we're willing to pay part of the wages. No one wants him, so that's why now we just letting the contract go down until eventually he leaves or someone's willing to pay for him in January. But for me, Ronaldo's great, but I think we didn't play well under him with him last year. I think he scored goals, but I feel like the way that we want to play, especially when we've got quite a young, exuberant squad, I just don't think he fits anymore. And I think we look a lot better with Martial and Rashford in. I think a lot of our road results have been with Ronaldo in as well.
Yeah, but did he won the game against Everton? Didn't he?
He scored a goal against Everton. I wouldn't say he won it. I think he put that goal away. Yeah, but
that's what strikers meant to do.
I agree, but like if we're looking, Rashford's won us more games. When I can think of countless times in the Europa League where against Sociedad he was really poor. The last Premier League game he started against Newcastle he was really poor. Like if he doesn't get that goal, he's very irrelevant. Whereas with Rashford, even if he doesn't score, he's running channels, he's opening space, and there's a lot of fluid movement, which means that the Bruno can run in and make space. Anthony and Sancho are cutting in on each side. We look so much more expansive with them in compared to Ronaldo. And like I said, I love Ronaldo and I wish him the best wherever he goes. But I just think under Ten Hag now, the way we want to play, he's just not going to work.
I think the thing that killed it a little bit for Ten Hag was announcing he wanted to go quite late in the window, because I got the impression with Ten Hag that wasn't the plan. The plan was to still have him around this year and maybe move him on next year. But I think because he left it so late, I think that created a bit of a circus you probably didn't need.
I think it was just because obviously we had a lot of players we needed to replace. And as much as Ronaldo wasn't suited for us, he wasn't what was needed to be replaced yet. The players that we brought in, we needed a DM, we brought in Casemiro, we needed a right wing, we brought in Anthony. Striker wasn't the position we needed to replace straight away. So it was right, we'll keep Ronaldo in for the year, see how he does, and then we'll let him go at the end. And then obviously people forget that he was a big part in the Brighton game and the Brentford game. And then he gets dropped, and all of a sudden we start winning games again. Like I said, I love Ronaldo, and I think he's great, and I respect everything he's ever done for us and as a footballer. But he doesn't suit us anymore, and it's just come to a point where I think both sides now just want to be done with it and move on, really.
Okay. So what line do you expect for United tomorrow then?
I think it's going to be pretty standard behaviour. I think the only position I would probably question is midfield with either Fred or Eriksen. I definitely think it'll be De Gea. I want to point out as well is I've got a very special mention for him. I think the way he's been playing out with the ball recently, compared to the beginning of the season, if you compare his stats, he's been miles better. But it'll be him, Dalot, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, be Casemiro. Then I said it'll be Fred or Eriksen. Then it'll be Bruno, Anthony, Sancho, and Rashford. I actually think that's probably our best 11 anyway. So, yeah.
Cool. What score prediction are you going for then?
I'm going for 2-0 to us. I'm not worried. I don't think Chelsea have much of a bite about them. Going forward, I don't think they really offer a lot. I don't rate a lot of it, to be honest. I think defensively they're very good, but I think games like the Villa game are very misleading. They got absolutely battered for the most part. I think, like I said, against Brentford, I thought they were poor. The 2 wins against AC Milan, they were handed both of them. Like Tomori spun around like a ballerina for one of the goals and got a red card in the other game for the other one. I rate Grandpa, but I don't rate Chelsea. So I think we'll win.
Okay. Sorry, Ben, what score predictions did you give? I think you gave one earlier.
Mine was 2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea.
Yeah. Whatever, Kev. Yeah, I think they will do it. Chelsea a good side. That team they've got, man, is a good team.
If we go through it, I think it's a lot weaker than people think it is.
Yeah. I think they've spent a lot of money, but when you've seen what they've spent it on, you've gone, oh. Yeah, you've got fans saying Kai Havertz leave the club, and it's like, you spent £75 million on him. You can't exactly be wanting him to leave.
Havertz feels like a Potter player, actually. To be fair, I think he do. I think that's the sort of player that he will rejuvenate, and I think he'll get Cucurella back to probably what he was doing at Brighton, which is what they needed. What are you going for, Luke?
0-0. It's gonna be a great 0-0 game, but both the sides play good football. Neither side can finish their chances. I think you've seen that from United, and you've seen that from Chelsea as well. Chelsea still having the same problems from last season. And United have been playing well, but they haven't got that killer up front that's going to finish all the chances that they have been creating. So I'm going to go 0-0.
Okay, Kev's got United to nick it 2-1. Bonkers also has a 2-1. I think I've seen a few 0-0s, 1-1s. Kev's pointing out Chelsea do have a big problem centre mid.
Yeah.
I mean, Kante's out now again until
he plays us.
After the World Cup.
Also, we've beat Tottenham, Arsenal, and Liverpool. Obviously, we had a rough game against City, but we've played well against the big teams. So I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Yeah, I've gone for a 1-1. KG 1-1 is what I've gone for, but we will see. Right, before we go on to the last game, the other news obviously is Mr. Gerrard. He is now no longer Aston Villa manager, so it's a big story. So we should talk about it. My perspective is: am I surprised? Not really, because the form says you're on the hiding for a sacking, and it's a similar form to what Dean Smith was on when he got sacked. So I kind of feel like, if you're being fair, Gerrard's been sacked with a similar record to what Dean Smith had when he got sacked. So I can't really see why it's a big shock. I don't think it is. Look, for him, all managers get sacked, so it's for him to go away and regroup and decide how he wants to go back into management again, regroup it. It'll probably do him good to have a little bit of a break from it. I find some of the gleefulness from Liverpool fans that he's got sacked, for me, I've seen some gleefulness online from Liverpool fans, a bit weird. Because, look, I never bought into the hype that Gerrard was going to be the next Liverpool manager. Didn't buy it at all. Because I said, if you're going to be the next Liverpool manager, then you'll show it in how you do in other clubs. And at the moment, his CV wasn't there. So, but look, Lampard's been sacked by Chelsea. He did okay at Derby. So, new manager's got to cut a teeth somewhere. He just may need to cut his teeth even in the Championship.
Outside of England, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. It might be the Championship, or it might do him good to try managing abroad. So, Kev, what was your sort of view on it? No big surprises, really?
No, I think it should have happened quite a while ago. I think if you look into how he actually did as soon as he joined, I think if you look at his overall record, it's really, really poor. He had a really rough end of the season, had a really rough season. I think the team that they've got, I don't see how they're not pushing. Like, they should be top half at least. So no, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, if you're saying 3 wins in 19. Also, the loss of Michael Beale, which was his number 2 at Rangers, is a big miss. Now there's a lot of Premier League clubs sniffing around him.
I think
he's
doing really well at QPR, really. I think.
Which I think is probably. I think turning Wolves is probably the sensible decision at the moment. Kev's what? Truth is, Gerrard should have been sacked before the Fulham game, but at 42, he's got a lot to learn in the game. Go abroad and learn from top coaches, which I think is the thing to do.
Yeah. Do what Eddie Howe did. I think he went to Atletico Madrid for a bit and saw how Diego Simeone trained, and look what he's done at Newcastle. Obviously, he's had a bit of a helping hand, but
yeah, quite a few coaches have done that before. Younger coaches have said they've watched Klopp sessions, Rafa sessions. Mourinho apparently is actually very good with young coaches, despite his demeanour. He does allow a lot of young coaches to come and watch his sessions to learn from him. And I think if he's humble enough and wants to do it, I'm sure he can.
It just all depends how much of an ego he's got and how willing he's ready, or if he's willing to step down a division to get another job. But I don't think he should be looking for another job until next season, at least. Take the time out, spend time with the family, look what you did wrong at Villa. I think some of the players definitely let him down. I think some of the players did pack it in a lot earlier, because as you were saying, Kev, that squad, people were talking like, if you're building a team outside the top 6, you're looking at adding some Villa players in there. And I think the players let him down as well as he let them down. But when you're trusting Tyrone Mings to save your job.
But as
they've got quite unlucky with injuries, but
yeah,
as Kev with injuries.
As Kev pointed out, Diego Carlos was brought in, pretty much to phase out Tyrone Mings, and he tore his Achilles in his first game. Look, you've got to adapt to it, but things like that don't help him. But I don't think it's a surprise for me. Ben, no big surprises for you?
No, like I think when we played him, we drew 1-1 with him, and I was speaking to a few Villa fans, and they said they should have sacked him before the Forest game. I know he did well for Rangers. Then I hear he's talking about like if he did well with Villa, they could potentially be a Liverpool manager in the future. Like I didn't buy it because, like I said, we've had past players like Stuart Pearce. He come to Forest and he did a rubbish job. So the Gerrard situation, I personally think he did well with Rangers. He should have started with a Championship club.
He should have stuck it out at Rangers longer. Like he.
I think he done everything he could have.
I think he could have done what he'd done, but I think he should start with maybe a Championship side to build his player, because Villa in the Premier League, Premier League is a tough business, and the way
poison chalice for that job.
It was, and I think at the start of the season when I think they played Bournemouth, and you mentioned Tyrone Mings, he dropped Tyrone Mings, and that's why Villa fans were a bit, what's going on here? Because Tyrone Mings was all right last season, and now you dropped the club captain for who's the centre midfielder for Villa, Scottish international. What's his name now?
John McGinn.
John McGinn, mini captain. I think, and that's why I think it ruffled some feathers on Mings and a few players. So I'm surprised with that. I think when they drawn 0-0 with Leeds, he should have gone then. So yeah, me personally, if he does get a new job, I think he should go to like you mentioned, maybe a foreign club. Championship, I don't know.
Championship, get away from the British press.
Yes,
because get away from the British press.
Exactly, because they're evil. They're evil. So,
but we've also seen the longer you're out of a job, it's amazing how much you become a better manager as well.
100%.
6 months out of a job, you all of a sudden find that people go, it might be worth giving him a go again. So it doesn't take very long for you to get back on that merry-go-round if you want to go on it. But that's up to him, because I must admit, when he became a manager, of all the ex-Liverpool players in that Benitez team, he was not the one I thought would become a manager. Ironically, the one I thought would become a manager works for Sky. So, but I think everyone
Xabi Alonso's a manager now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for it. Give it another 6 months. Xabi Alonso win a few games. That's the next Liverpool manager.
Exactly.
It's the romanticism in football people would love, and it isn't. Look, if you have an ex-player who comes on and wins you stuff, it does feel that bit special. I'm sure Madrid fans love Zidane because he's won the three Champions Leagues. But it's very rare, I think, that you get many great players go back to the club and then go on to do great things as a manager. It's very hard to do. So,
sorry, mentioned like Potter. Potter started with the Norwegian team, and then look what he's done. And
a university team, wasn't it? I think
exactly. So he's got he started with them. Then he went to Swansea, done what he did there, to Brighton, what he did there, and now look at him, he's at Chelsea. Could you imagine that? And people Gerrard, like I said, he needs to go somewhere, get away from the press, and build up again, because will he be a good manager in the future? We never know.
You never know. Sam Tandy said Divock Origi to be Liverpool manager in 2040. Can you imagine that? Do you know what would happen? Is nothing would happen in the games at all until the 91st minute, and then it'd be a 1-0 win. That'd be the Divock Origi Liverpool. Which, I'll be honest, I think that'd be a hell of a ride. That would have. Can you imagine that though? I think Divock Origi is a bit too chill to be a manager, to be honest.
No, you only manage your team if you play in Everton. That's what.
Yeah, just roll him out for the Everton game. I can live with that, to be honest. That's all right. Cool. Right, so let's move on to the final big game. Is Tottenham versus Newcastle. So Tottenham weren't great against United, but form-wise, they've won 4, lost 2, so in the last 6, so they're in pretty decent form. And Newcastle and the last 6 have won 3 and drawn 3. So Newcastle are making themselves difficult to beat. This is without Isaac, who's now out until Boxing Day for them, which is a big loss. But luckily for them, Callum Wilson is back fit, who is the goal threat for them. But I think this will be quite an intriguing game, because will Newcastle go at them, or will they try and do what they did in all the other big games, which is sit back and look to use their pace and trickery on the break with what they have. So, Kev, how are you seeing this one?
I think Newcastle do quite well. I think, obviously, and I'm not just saying this because we absolutely battered them the other day, but I'm saying it because I just don't think a lot of their results have been that convincing. I think they've got results, which, listen, that's great. But performance-wise, I don't think they've been as good as probably the table says they've been. And I think Newcastle have been very good. I think, I might be wrong, but I think the only team they've lost to in the league was Liverpool, and it was in the last minute. I think they've just had a lot of draws. I think they've made themselves really hard to beat. I think they've given a lot of good teams good games. I think Eddie Howe's doing a brilliant job there, and I think they'll give them a really good game.
Awesome. Ben, how are you seeing this one?
Newcastle, like I said, we played him start of the season, and I was really impressed with him. Spurs, with Conte, everyone knows his record. He's a fantastic manager, but I can see a draw in this. I see a draw in it because, like I said, they're both. I know Spurs lost to Man Utd the other day, but I think it'll be a draw. But like Eddie Howe, I've always rated him. I know Newcastle's a big challenge with the new owners and all that. So, me personally, I think it'll be a 1-1. Spurs, they've got a good manager, but they're not.
It's a hard watch, isn't it? It's a hard watch, isn't it?
Yeah, so 1-1 for me.
Yes, Luke. I mean, Spurs are also going to have no Kulusevski and no Richarlison. So, listen, Son and Kane's not a bad front two, but they are limited with their options off the bench. He doesn't seem to fancy Lucas Moura that much, and he's now playing a wing back in Doherty, who I believe he was quoted as saying last month, "Why don't you play Doherty?
I want to win.
I want to win games. That's why I don't play him." And now you play, and now you're playing him, which sort of feels like you kind of killed the player there. Yeah, it's very complex.
Both clubs one club I don't like, one club that I will not like in the future. This could be a really boring game, I reckon. It'll be a really boring game. I think Spurs against United were bad, like really bad. I think United played really well, but I think Spurs helped United for just being so abject. I think Newcastle have actually done well. Miguel Almiron, all it took for him to ignite his form was someone telling Jack Grealish that you were playing like Miguel Almiron, and who's having the better season so far? Almiron. So it's going to be an interesting one. I got a draw written all over this because Spurs look shot of confidence. Yes, they've picked up points, but they've not been convincing at all. I think third in the table actually flatters them a lot. So, and plus Kev put Maximin's back tomorrow, so maybe Newcastle might nick something, but I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, I think I've got a 1-1 for it, but Newcastle have got enough on the break now, and Kev's right. The only loss they've got is towards in the 99th minute. So they're literally a minute less than 30 seconds away from being the only undefeated side. They are, as we've had, a right ball ache to break down.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that is, can they cover the Isak injury? Callum Wilson, when he's fit, really good striker. The key problem with Callum Wilson is when he's fit. So it's how they can manage his fitness. If they can get manage his fitness till the new year, then I think they'll be fine. So I've got 1-1 as well. Because you say 0-0, was it, Luke?
1-1.
1-1. We're all going for a very exciting, high-scoring games today, aren't we? So, cool. So another thing to mention is we are Liverpool doing a November deal for you guys at the moment. So if you buy any cap, t-shirt, beanie, or sports bottle before the 18th of November, you'll be entered into a draw to win an LFC bundle, which is a cap, a t-shirt, a beanie, and a water bottle. And that is at weareliverpool.ie. And they're also doing some beanies for us for LFC Daytrippers. There aren't many left, so get onto them if you want to. It's really good stuff. Kev O'Sullivan loves his beanie. He keeps telling me all about it. You know, I think he's a bit obsessed with his beanie, to be honest, which is a bit strange.
Not me,
cool.
by the way.
No, Mr. O'Sullivan. No. So
there's no wrong with beanie hats. It is cold out there, so get one.
I'm fine with a beanie, just not a Liverpool one.
No, don't get a Liverpool one. No.
Get a Forest one.
Exactly. Thank you for promoting that.
Cool. So what we'll do is we've got a few minutes left. We'll just do quick fire predictions for the remaining games because there are some half decent ones, but most of them are a bit naff. So just literally first score comes to you. So we'll go first with Everton Palace. Luke.
2-1 Palace.
I've got 2-1 Palace as well. Kev.
3-1 Palace.
Ben.
1-1.
1-1. Okay. City Brighton. I've got 3-0 City because Brighton are turd since they've got 3-3 against us. Luke.
6-0 City.
Kev.
4-1. Right. 4-1 City.
That's 6-0 for me then.
That's Thomas Brighton scoring.
I forgot my own name when I heard that.
Ben, what did you have for this? Sorry.
4-0 Man City.
4-0. Okay. Villa versus Brentford. Ben, back to you.
2-1 Brentford.
Okay. Kev.
2-0 Brentford.
Luke.
3-0 Brentford.
I've got 2-1 Brentford. Leeds versus Fulham. I've got 2-1 Fulham. Luke.
2-2.
Kev.
3-1 Fulham.
Ben.
3-0 Fulham.
A lot of away wins we'll go for now. Southampton versus Arsenal. I've got 2-1 to Arsenal. Ben.
2-1 Arsenal.
Kev.
2-0 Arsenal.
Luke.
This is where they start slipping. 1-1.
1-1. Is that the old wishful thinking coming through there?
Yep. There it is.
Yeah. Wolves versus Leicester. I've got 1-1. Kev.
0-0. I think it's a bit boring.
Ben.
0-0.
Luke.
0-0.
So basically, that's the last one of match of the day then.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
And the Monday night game, West Ham versus Bournemouth. I've got 2-1 West Ham. Luke.
2-0 West Ham.
2-0 West Ham. Ben.
3-1 West Ham.
Kev.
2-2.
2-2. Okay, there we go. Nice spread of games there. But ultimately, we all
everything exactly.
reference everything, but we all don't rate Everton, which I'm all for. So that's all good. Cool. So, Ben, before we go, where can people find you and all your content?
My channel is Dore on Tour. It's above me. I do Forest content. I go to every Forest game to do vlogs. I do reviews, previews, and I interview ex-Nottingham Forest players like the Everton legend Kevin Campbell. So sorry, I had to get it in there. I interview ex-Forest players, and like I do always fun Forest content. So please do subscribe. Like I said, I'm on the road to 10K. Please go subscribe.
There we go. Awesome. Kev, where can everyone find you? They must know them by now, but let's just...
Yeah, it's just Clutch_FIFA on all the socials, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff. I'm mostly on Twitter. That's if you want to get in contact with me, that's where I am most. But all of them with the @Clutch_FIFA.
That's right. What's new in FIFA? Anything exciting? I'm going to pretend I don't.
Honestly, no. Like even if I try to explain it to you, I think you wouldn't even understand. But no, there's nothing really exciting going on. So and
to be fair, he's not being concerned. I haven't got a clue. At some point, I'm going to sit.
I don't half the time. I just get people to tell me really.
Get paid for it as well.
Yeah, which is not bad, is it? Not bad getting paid for that either. Yeah, cool. Well, listen, guys, thanks very much for joining us. So, rest of the week. So tomorrow we'll have Full-Time Reds, which will be Kev and it's Matt doing it this week. I'm away. I'm watching my daughter play football, so the joys for me. The joys for me. And then on Sunday we've got Fat Back 4, and then the whole cycle starts again with winners and losers. There'll be a preview on Tuesday, and then Full-Time Reds on Wednesday, which will be me and Kev. Luke, thanks for coming on. Are you doing a UFC watch along?
Yes.
So
starts at 7 p.m. UK time.
Oh, it's not worth watching then.
And plus we're paying for it, so you don't have to.
Oh, you're gonna send me the link, are you? Excellent. That's good to know.
No.
On Kevsport, women's game, Chris. Yes, there is a women's game on Sunday. Liverpool are playing Arsenal, who've just beaten Lyon
5-1.
5-1. First time
5-1,
Lyon
yeah.
have ever conceded 5 goals in years. So that's going to be a nice long 90 minutes, I think. But, be nice to go to the game again. So it's all good fun. But listen, guys, thanks very much for joining us. Please like and subscribe on your way out, and please leave your comments on the show. But listen, until then, we'll see you guys very soon. See you later.
Up the Forest.